The Egyptian Tomb. Over the next month, August and I hung out a lot after school, either at his house or my house. August's parents even invited Mom and me over for dinner a couple times. I overheard them talking about fixing Mom up on a blind date with August's Uncle Ben. On the day of the Egyptian Museum exhibit, we all were really excited and kind of giddy. It had snowed the day before, not as much as it had snowed over Thanksgiving break, but still, snow is snow. The gym had turned into a giant museum with everyone's Egyptian artifacts displayed on a table with little caption cards explaining what the thing was. Most of the artifacts were really great, but I have to say, I really think mine and August were the best. My sculpture of Anubis looked pretty real, and I even had real gold paint on it. And August had made up his step pyramid out of sugar cubes. It was also 2 feet high and 2 feet long, and he had to spray paint the cubes with some kind of fake sand painting or something. It looked so awesome. We all dressed up in Egyptian costumes. Some of the kids were Indiana Jones types archaeologists. Some of them dressed up like pharaohs. August and I dressed up like mummies. Our faces were covered except for 2 little holes in the eyes and a little hole for our mouth. When the parents showed up, they all lined up in the hallway in front of the gym. Then we were told we could go to get our parents, and each kid got to take his or her parent on a flashlight tour through the dark ages. August and I took our moms around together. We stopped at each exhibit explaining what it was, talking in whispers and answering questions. Since it was dark, we used our flashlights to illuminate the artifacts when we were talking. Sometimes, for dramatic effect, we would hold the flashlights to our chins while we were explaining something in detail. It was so much fun hearing all the whispers in the dark, seeing all the lights zigzagging around the dark room. At one point, I went over to get a drink of water in the fountain. I had to take some mummy wrap off my face. "Hey, Summer," said Jack, who came over to talk with me. He was dressed up like the man from the Mummy. "Cool costume." "Thanks," I said. "Is that other mummy August?" "Yeah." Hey, do you know why August is mad at me?" "Uh-huh," I nodded. "Can you tell me?" "Nope." He nodded and seemed bummed. "I told him I wouldn't tell you," I explained. "It's so weird," he said. "I have no idea why he's mad at me at all of a sudden. And now he won't even talk to me. Can you at least give me a hint?" I looked over at where August was across the room talking to our moms. I wasn't about to break my solid oath, and I wouldn't tell anyone what he overheard on Halloween, but I felt bad for Jack. "Bleeding scream," I whispered into his ear, and I walked away. Part 4, Jack. Now here is my secret. It's very simple. It is only with one heart that one can see clearly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, The Little Prince, The Petit Prince. The call. So, in August, my parents got a call from Mr. Tushman, the middle school director, and my mom said maybe they call all the new students to welcome them. And said my dad, "That's a lot of kids to be calling." So Mom called him back, and I could hear her talking to Mr. Tushman on the phone. This was exactly what she said. "Oh, hi, Mr. Tushman. It's Amanda Will. Returning your call." Pause. "Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. He is looking forward to it." Pause. "Yes." Pause. "Yeah." Pause. "Oh, sure." Long pause. "Oh, uh-huh." Pause. "Well, that's so nice of you to say." Pause. "Sure." "Oh, wow. Oh." Super long pause. "I see." "Of course. I'm sure he will. Let me write it down." "Got it. I'll call you after I've had a chance to talk with him, okay?" Pause. "No, thank you for thinking of him. Bye-bye." And when she hung up, I was like, "What's up? What did he say?" And Mom said, "Well, it's actually very flattering, but kind of sad, too. There seems to be a boy who's starting the middle school this year, and he's never been to a real school environment before because he was homeschooled. So Mr. Tushman talked to some of the lower school teachers to find out who they thought were some of the really, really nice kids going into 5th grade. And the teachers must have told them that you were an especially nice kid, which I already know, of course. And Mr. Tushman was wondering if you could count on you to sort of shepherd this new boy around a bit. Like, let him hang out with me? I asked. Exactly, said Mom. He called it being a welcome buddy. But why me? I told you, your teachers told Mr. Tushman that you were a kind of kid that was kind. And who's known for being a good egg? I mean, I'm so proud that they think so highly of you. Why is it sad? What do you mean? You said it flattering, but kind of sad, too. Oh, Mom nodded. Well, apparently this boy has some sort of, I guess there's something wrong with his face. Or something like that. Not sure. Maybe it was an accident. Mr. Tushman said he'd explain it a little bit more when you came to the school if you came to the school next week. School doesn't start till September. He wants you to meet this kid before school starts. Oh, do I have to? Mom looked a bit surprised. Well, no. Of course not, she said. But it would be the nice thing to do, Jack. If I don't have to do it, I said, I don't want to do it. Can you at least think about it? I'm thinking about it right now, and I don't want to do it. Well, I'm not going to force you, she said, but at least think about it some more, okay? I'm not calling Mr. Tushman back until tomorrow, so just sit with it a bit. I mean it, Jack. I really don't think it's that much to ask that you spend a little extra time with a new kid. It's not just that he's a new kid, Mom, I answered. He's deformed. Well, that's a terrible thing to say, Jack. Well, he is, Mom. You don't even know who he is. Yeah, I do, I said, because I knew the second she started talking about him that it was this kid named August. Carvel. I remember seeing him the first time in front of the Carvel on Amherst Avenue. And when I was about 5 or 6, me and Veronica, my babysitter, were sitting on the bench outside the store with Jamie and my baby brother, who was sitting on the stroller facing us. And I guess I was busy eating my ice cream cone, but I didn't even notice the people who sat next to us. Then at one point I turned my head to suck on the ice cream out of the bottom of the cone, and that's when I saw him, August. He was sitting right next to me. I know it wasn't cool, but I kind of went, ugh, when I saw him, because I honestly got scared. I thought he was wearing some kind of zombie mask or something. It was a kind of a, you say when you're watching something scary in a scary movie. The kind of, you say when you just are freaked out. Like the bad guy jumps out of the bushes. Anyway, I know it wasn't nice of me to do that. And though the kid didn't really hear me, I know his sister did. Jack, we have to go, said Veronica. She had gotten up and was turning to the stroller around because Jamie, who had obviously just noticed the kid too, was about to say something embarrassing. So I jumped up kind of suddenly, like a bee, and had landed on me and followed Veronica and zoomed away. I could hear the kid's mom saying softly behind us, "Okay, guys, I think it's time to go." And I turned around to look at them one more time. The kid was licking the ice cream cone. The mom was picking up the scooter, and the sister was glaring at me like she was going to kill me. I looked away quickly. "Veronica, what's wrong with that kid?" I whispered. "Hush, boy," she said. Her voice was angry. I love Veronica, but when she got mad, she got mad. Meanwhile, Jamie was practically spilling out of his stroller trying to get another look, and Veronica was pushing him away. "But Veronica," said Jamie. "You boys are very naughty, said Veronica. As soon as we were farther down the block, start staring like that. "I didn't mean to," I said. Veronica, said Jamie. "Us leaving like that?" Veronica was muttering. "Oh, Lord, that poor lady. I tell you, boys, every day we should thank the good Lord for our blessings. Do you hear me?" "Veronica." "What is it, Jamie?" It's Halloween." "No, Jamie." "Then why was that boy wearing a mask?" Veronica didn't answer. Sometimes she was just so mad about something she would do that. "He wasn't wearing a mask," I explained to Jamie. "Huh?" "Hush, Jack," said Veronica. Why are you so mad, Veronica? I couldn't help asking. I thought this would make her angrier, but actually she shook her head. It was bad how we did that, she said. Just getting up like that. We didn't just see the devil. I was scared for what Jamie was going to say. I didn't want him to say anything that would hurt the little boy's feelings. But it was very bad of us leaving like that. The mama knew that what was going on. But we didn't mean it, I answered. Jack, sometimes you don't have to mean to hurt somebody's feelings to hurt somebody. Do you understand? That was the first time I ever saw August in the neighborhood, and at least I remember. But I've seen him around ever since. Then a couple of times at the playground, a few times in the park. He used to wear an astronaut helmet sometimes, but I always knew it was him underneath that helmet. All of the kids in the neighborhood knew it was him. Everyone's seen August at some point or another. We all knew his name, though he doesn't know ours. And whenever I've seen him, I try to remember what Veronica said. But it's hard. It's hard not to sneak a second look. It's hard to act normal when you see him. Why I changed my mind. Who else did Mr. Tushman call? I asked Mom last night. Did he tell you? He mentioned Julian and Charlotte. Julian? I said. Oh, why Julian? You used to be friends with Julian. Mom, that was like in kindergarten. Julian's the biggest phony there is. He's trying so hard to be popular all the time. Well, said Mom, at least Julian agreed to help the kid out. Gotta give him at least that. I didn't say anything because she was right. What about Charlotte? I asked. Is she doing it too? Yes, Mom said. Of course she is. Charlotte's a goodie. 2 shoes, I answered. Boy, Jack, said Mom, you seem to have a problem with everybody these days. It's just, I started, Mom. You have no idea what this kid looks like. I can't imagine. No, you can't. You've never seen him, and I have. It might not even be who you're thinking it is. Oh, trust me, it is. And I'm telling you, it's really bad. Really bad. He's deformed, Mom. His eyes are like down here. And I pointed to my cheeks. And he has no ears. And his mouth is like... Jamie walked into the kitchen to get a juice box from the fridge. Ask Jamie, I said. Right, Jamie? Remember that kid we saw on the park at school last year? The kid named August? The one with the face? Oh, that kid, said Jamie, his eyes opening wide. He gave me a nightmare. Remember, Mommy, the nightmare about the zombies from last year? I thought that was from watching a scary movie, answered his mom. No, said Jamie, it was from seeing that kid. When I saw him, I was like, ah! And I ran away. Wait a minute, said Mom, getting serious. Did you do that in front of him? Well, I couldn't help it, said Jamie, kind of whining. Of course you could help it, Mom scolded. Guys, I have to tell you, I'm really disappointed in what I'm hearing here. And she looked like how she sounded. I mean, honestly, he's just a little boy. He's just like you. Can you imagine how he felt when to see you running away from him, Jamie, and screaming? Well, it wasn't a scream, argued Jamie. It was like, ah! And I put my hands out on my cheeks and started running around the kitchen. Come on, Jamie, Mom said angrily. I honestly thought both of you, my boys, would be more sympathetic than that. What's sympathetic? Said Jamie, who was only now going into 2nd grade. You know exactly what I mean, sympathetic means, Jamie, said Mom. It's just he's so ugly, Mommy, said Jamie. Hey, Mom yelled, I don't like that word. Jamie just got your juice box. I want you to go talk to Jack. I want to talk to Jack alone for a second. Look, Jack, said Mom as soon as he left. And I knew she was about to give me the whole speech. Okay, I'll do it, I said, which completely shocked her. You will? Yes. So I can call Mr. Tushman? Yeah. Go ahead, Mom. I said yes. Mom smiled. I knew you would rise to the occasion, kiddo. Good for you. I'm proud of you, Jackie. She messed up my hair, so here's why I changed my mind. It wasn't so I wouldn't have to hear my mom give me the whole lecture. And it wasn't to protect this August kid from Julian, who I knew would be a jerk about the whole thing. It was because I heard Jamie talking about how he had run away from August, going, ah! I suddenly felt really bad for him. The thing is, There are always going to be kids like Julian who are jerks. But if a little kid like Jamie, who's usually nice to enough kid, can be so mean, then a kid like August, he doesn't stand a chance in middle school. 4 things. First of all, you do get used to the face. The first couple of times I was like, whoa, I'm never going to get used to this. And then after about a week, I was like, it's not so bad. Second of all, he's actually a really cool dude. I mean, he's pretty funny. Like, the teacher will say something and August will whisper something funny to me so that no one else hears it and totally make me crack up. He also just is an overall nice kid. Like, he's really easy to hang out with and he's really easy to talk to and stuff. Third of all, he's really smart. I thought he'd be behind everyone because he hadn't gone to school, but in most things, he was way ahead of me. I mean, maybe not as smart as Charlotte or Eczema, but he's up there. And unlike Charlotte and Eczema, he lets me cheat off him, which I really needed, though I've only needed it a couple times. He'd also let me copy his homework too, though we both got in trouble for that after class. The 2 of you got the exact same wrong answers yesterday, said Mr. Rubin, or Ms. Rubin, looking at both of us. She was waiting for an explanation. I didn't know what to say because the explanation would have been, oh, that's because I copied August's homework. But August lied to protect me. He was like, oh, that's because we did our homework together last night, which wasn't true at all. Well, doing homework together is a good thing, Ms. Rubin answered. But you're supposed to still do it separately, okay? You could work side by side if you want to, but you can't actually do your homework together, okay? Got it? After we left the room, I said, dude, thanks for doing that. And he was like, no problem. That was cool. Fourthly, now that I know him, I would say I actually do want to be friends with August. At first, I admit it. I was only friendly to him because Tushman asked me to be especially nice and all that. But now I would choose him to hang out with him. He laughs at all my jokes, and I kind of feel like I can tell August anything. Like, he's a really good friend. Like, all the guys in 5th grade were lined up against a wall, and I got to choose anyone I wanted to hang out with. I'd choose August. Ex-friends. Bleeding scream. What the heck? Summer Dawson was always a bit out there, but this was too much. All I did was ask her why August was acting like he was mad at me or something. I figured she would know, and all she said was bleeding scream. I don't even know what that means. It's so weird because one day me and August were friends, and the next day, whoosh, he hardly was talking to me, and I haven't had the slightest idea what I said to him. Hey, August, you mad at me or something? He shrugged and walked away. So I would take that as a definite yes. And since I know for a fact I didn't do anything to him to be mad about, I figured Summer could tell me what was up. But all I got from her was bleeding scream. Yeah, big help. Thanks, Summer. You know, I've got plenty other friends in school, so if August wants to officially be my ex-friend, then fine. That is okay by me. See if I care. I've started ignoring him like he's ignoring me at school. That is actually kind of hard, since we sit next to each other practically every class. All the other kids noticed I have started asking if me and August had a fight. Nobody asks August what's going on. Hardly anyone ever talks to him anyways. I mean, the only person he hang out with other than me is Summer. Sometimes he hangs out with Reed Kingsley a little bit. The 2 of the Maxes got him playing Dungeons and Dragons a couple of times at recess. Charlotte, for all her goody-goody two-shoeing, doesn't ever do more than a nod or a hello when she's passing by in the hallway. And I don't know if everyone's still playing the Plague behind his back because no one ever really told me about it directly. But my point is that it's not like a whole lot of other friends could be hanging out with him instead of me. If he wants to diss me, I guess he loses, not me. So this is how things are going to be between us. We only talk to each other about school stuff if we absolutely have to. Like, I'll say, what did Ruben say the homework was? And he'll answer. Or he'll be like, can I use your pencil sharpener? And I'll let him use my pencil sharpener case. But as soon as the bell rings, we go our separate ways. Why? This is good because I get to hang out with a lot more kids now. Before, when I was hanging out with August all the time, the kids would stop hanging out with me because they'd have to hang out with him. Or they would keep things from me, like the whole thing about the plague. I think I was the only one who didn't know it except for Summer, or maybe a D&D crowd. And the truth is, though, nobody was that obvious about it. Nobody wants to hang out with him. Everyone was just way too hung up on being popular and being in the popular group. And he's about as far from popular as a group as you can get. But now I can hang out with anyone I want if I wanted to. I could be in the popular group. I could totally be the popular group. Why is this bad? Because, well, A, I don't actually enjoy hanging with popular group that much. And B, I actually like hanging out with August. So this is kind of messed up. And it's all August's fault. Snow. The first snow of winter, that night before Thanksgiving break, school was closed. We got an extra day of vacation. I was so glad about that because but I was bummed about this whole August thing. I just wanted some time to chill out, having to see him every day. Also, waking up to a snow day is just about my favorite thing in the whole world. I love the feeling when you first open your eyes in the morning and you don't even know why everything seems so different than usual. Then it hits you. Everything is quiet. There's no cars honking. There's no buses going down the street. Then you run over to the window, and outside everything is covered in white. The sidewalks, the trees, the cars on the street, your window pane. And when it happens on a school day and you find out school is closed, well, I don't care how old I get. I'm always going to think that that's the best feeling in the whole world. And I'm never going to be one of those grown-ups who use an umbrella when it's snowing, like ever. Dad's school was closed too, so he took me and Jamie sledding down Skeleton Hill in the park. They say a little kid broke his neck while sledding down that hill a few years ago, but I don't know if this is actually true or just one of those legends. On the way home, I spotted a banged-up old wooden sled kind of propped up against the old Indian rock monument. Dad said to leave it. It was just garbage, but someone told me it would make the greatest sled ever. So Dad let me drag it home, and I spent the rest of the day fixing it up. I superglued the broken parts together and wrapped some heavy duct tape around it for extra strength. Then I spray painted it with the whole thing white. And then I had paint I had gotten from the alabaster sphinx I was making for my Egyptian museum project. When it was all dry, I painted lightning gold letters in the middle of the wood, and I made lightning bolt symbols above the letters. It looked pretty professional, I have to say. Dad was like, "Wow, Jackie, you were right about that sled." The next day, we went back to Skeleton Hill with Lightning. It was the fastest thing I've ever ridden, so much faster than the plastic sleds that we've been using. And because it gotten warmer outside, the snow became crunchier and wetter. Good packing snow. Me and Jamie took turns on Lightning all afternoon. We were in the park until our fingers were frozen and our lips turned a little blue. Dad practically had to drag us home. By the end of the weekend, the snow had started turning gray and yellow, and the rainstorm turned most of the snow to slush. Then we got to go back to school Monday. There was no snow left. It was rainy, yucky, the first day back from vacation, a slushy day. That's how I was feeling, too. I nodded, "Hey," to August the first time I saw him. We were in the front of the lockers. He nodded, "Hey," back. I wanted to tell him about Lightning, but I didn't.